That music is Steve Sipple. Stephen M. Sipple from on3.com and 93.7 The Ticket and Life in General joins us now, who is my candidate. If we're ever going to have a celebrity roast of a media member in this state, it is the one, the only, Mr. Steve Sipple. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. No, that roast would get interesting, and we're not doing it.
Come on.
Hey, now you've been able to make fun of yourself. Would you feel super uncomfortable being roasted like at the Rococo?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
no.
Should we set this up?
No, I would not.
That was
I would not
emphatic.
feel uncomfortable, but I wouldn't like pine for it. I mean, it'd be fine. Nothing really makes me uncomfortable. You guys are not you, Nick, but Gary, we're getting up there. I mean, you just.
I'm right behind you. I'm 45.
Hey.
Yeah, well, you haven't got to the point where you just sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Live life?
I was thinking more of, you say the hell with it. But
I haven't started wearing sweatpants to work yet.
Well, I don't do that.
Well, I don't know. I just saying.
Hey, but see, I've seen you. I've seen you when you were younger, when you were covering horse racing and boxing.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time at State Fair Park betting.
God, we did.
Yeah, we did. Those were back in the day. You've come a long way since then, Sip.
I don't know that that's true.
Okay, so if not you, who do you think would be a good former coach or a former athlete in the state that would be good for a roast?
Ooh. Charlie McBride would be good, right?
Ooh,
Yeah. That would be good, yeah.
I think
Be
he
a
could
lot of
take it.
stories.
I think he could take it.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah,
give it
and
back,
there'd be
too.
a lot of good. That's right. A lot of good players. A lot of really good stories. That'd be the one that stands out above all to me. And he's got a really good sense of humor.
Yes, he does. All right, I didn't think of Coach McBride, but I will work on that. We'll get him out of Arizona. We'll get him back here. You wrote about this. We actually talked about it last week about Nebraska's brand in Omaha because that's a big deal to Rule. And he came up here and did the youth football camp, which still almost a week later, Snip, I'm hearing from people how much that resonated to take their son, and he's working with Jalen Lloyd or Tony White screaming at him to get in line. You wrote about the Lincoln Omaha divide. You live in Lincoln, you spend time here in Omaha, you got your Omaha face on periodically. Is this as big a thing as maybe we're finding out it is, that there is a Lincoln Omaha divide in this fan base?
Fan base. Yeah, this divide topic is sort of hard to get your arms around in some ways. When Matt said it, I was struck. Like, oh, huh. Like he just said it unprompted, you know. Is it significant? I think it has been a little bit. I mean, let's put it this way: they haven't done a camp like that in memory, in for sure recent memory. So I'm talking about a camp. I say the eastern part of Omaha. Michael Severe, our good friend, texted me yesterday. I didn't respond, by the way. I should. Hello, Michael, if you're listening. He said, no, that's not eastern. That's central. I'd still say it's eastern. But nonetheless, there hasn't been a camp around those parts. I had a parent just walk by me and say, yeah, it's nice that they're on this side of 72nd Street.
Fair.
You know,
that's fair.
Thing. So that indicates some level of divide, right? You know, former players from Omaha have been outspoken against the program during the Frost years for sure, and maybe before that, probably before that. There's there's the usual suspects in that conversation. I think that created divide. I think that it is, but here's the good news. Rule comes in, and sometimes it's good to come in from the outside.
Yep.
And it's good. It's good to come in from the outside because you're unencumbered by the past. You're unencumbered by previous relationships that might have been good, then went bad a little bit. If you're around a place, those things happen. It's just a natural course of life. But Matt comes in, A, unencumbered by that, and B, he's still popular. I mean, he had a 5-7, but people understand it, and there's a lot of optimism for year 2. So he's in a good spot to come in and say, I want to take care of things like this. I don't want this to be the case. And people will react favorably. And I think you're right, Gary. A lot of people reacted favorably, and I totally understand from being there. It wasn't a corporate scene. This wasn't a media driven thing. I mean, it wasn't a media event at all. It was very grassroots. It was beautiful. Like it was very striking to me how innocent and pure it was. And just little things too, like how kind of Matt Rule kind of stays in the background in his own way a little bit. How Dylan Raiola stayed in the background. But just how well the kids were treated. It was beautiful. It was a great thing for me to see.
One of the questions when we were discussing this last week was how it got to that divide. And I just felt, Sip, and maybe agree, maybe disagree, maybe there's a hint of it, that Omaha would always be there for you. And so you take it for granted because it's the highest populated city in the state. You're going to have more to choose from. And you would think it's flawed thinking, especially when you're struggling as a program, that you would take Omaha for granted. But is it as simple as that? Is it just, well, they're there. We always know we're going to get a lot out of Omaha. We need to grassroots this thing in smaller communities and really strengthen the brand there.
I can't speak to that. I don't know. I don't know which coaching staff you're talking about. I don't know that. I would hate to put that on anybody. I would hate to put it on anybody because it sounds preposterous. Right. How would you take Omaha for granted with the talent that's come out of there for years? I mean, it's been stronger in some years than others, in some periods than others, but it's still Omaha. It's still I don't know if you're at 1 million people or whatever it is, however you count it in the metro and in the surrounding communities. It just sounds so crazy to me that any coaching staff that came through there would take it for granted. So getting back to why was there a divide? Why is there a divide? I don't know. I'm not I am not the authority on that matter at all. I guess I don't think about the world in those terms all the time. I'm kind of aware, but again, when Matt said it, I drove home, and I was thinking about it and what I was going to write. And I didn't totally understand where he was coming from. Yeah. Not totally. I understood to a certain point.
Hey, would you, and this is now a full season, couple of recruiting cycles, couple of springs. Is this roster set up for the success that they want right now? Have they done? Is this roster in a better spot than they probably thought it would be?
Oh, I'd have to know what they thought. The roster, as I look at it, it's good. And I guess the way I've been saying it, Gary, is that there's no gaping holes that I see. But there's enough minor issues that you can't really say, they're ready to compete with Oregon and Ohio State. No, they're not. They're not that. They might get them on a random Saturday, but they're not that level. It's not even like we saw what it looked like firsthand in Lincoln last season when Michigan came in, and Nebraska doesn't look anything like that. So no, there's a ways to go. Definitely looks better though. I came away from the spring game thinking that just the total view, just the very big, in a very big picture sense, what I saw was better. Mm-hmm. I'm confident it'll be better. And that could be pretty good too. That's the thing. I mean, with a little luck, you get to 8, maybe you get to 9 even in a bowl with a bowl win, or you just get to 9. I think they're in a pretty good spot, but it's the same old conversation we have every year in recent years. They got to win close games, which, you know what? Matt's geared a lot of what he's doing just around that part of the deal. You got to win these close games. You got to, what's he always say? You got to be 3 points better.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of this is going to boil down to once again.
Sip, there's obviously, and we experienced this a year ago, the outside respect in the college game for Matt Rule. You're noticing that Nebraska's getting a lot of positive ink from the national perspective of a team that could be on the come. My question for you is, how much of that, I know both of these will have a factor, but how much of that is the confidence in Matt Rule as a college football coach, and how much of that has to do with number 15?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot that goes into that. I think there is a lot of smart media that understand what Matt did at Temple and Baylor. I think that's part of it. I also think there's a lot of media that want Nebraska to be back. They kind of, I think it's subconscious, or maybe it's not even subconscious. I think a lot of people, other than in this market, kind of they hunger for Nebraska to be back. Now, as far as Dylan goes, yeah, I do. I think that's part of it. I mean, he's so acclaimed as a high school player, that I don't think you can just dodge that part of it. I mean, here's the thing. Why you hear some hesitancy in my voice? I don't want to put all that on Dylan.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it myself. Not that he can't handle it. I think he probably can, but I don't want to do that to him. He's just a kid, and this is hard. This is a hard job, as we've learned. We've learned that over the years, and not just with Adrian Martinez. You can go way farther back. The quarterback position at Nebraska is a bear. Like the coaching job, like the head coaching job is a bear. That's one thing there's a lot I appreciate about Matt Rule, but remember just recently he talked about that. He's very frank. He said, when things go bad, you're going to talk. I'm paraphrasing, but you're going to talk to me and you're going to talk to the quarterback. Well, in this case, the quarterback is probably 17 going on 18, so that's a lot. That's a lot for a teenager.
Hey, don't you think you brought up something? He's a popular guy off a 5-7 season, and we all know what he inherited. We don't need to go back to that. But man, you were 5-7 and didn't win a game in November, but his popularity is really, really high. Do you think? And I think this is his day-to-day approach, and his transparency helps. But his model can buy yourself some time and respect at the same time while you're trying to get out of 5-7 and go to 7-5 before you hit that magical third year where maybe you get 9. It's quite fascinating that his popularity, I think, has grown since last year.
It has. I wouldn't want to test it too much if I was.
No, and I think he's very aware of that.
Right. This is a passionate fan base, and it can kind of go the other way. But I agree with you, and I think a lot of this is the way I see it is popularity, and I size it up this way. I think he genuinely likes it here. I really do.
That goes a long way.
He loves football. I mean, he is. No, and you say, well, Sipple, every head coach. No, they don't. I've dealt with players and coaches that love it at much different levels than others. And he loves it at a high level. And I think he likes the fact that this market is very passionate about football, about the thing that he's passionate about. And I think it's very genuine. I think it's all very genuine with Matt. Nothing it never feels forced to me. He just likes it. He likes the, the scene of going into Omaha and helping that part of it. And he likes dealing with the media. He gives us great information. I mean, he's so transparent and I think he sees that he sees the appreciation. So it's a fit. The fit is really good. That's what I'd say. Trev did a great job in finding this coach and getting him locked in. Now, it's always going to go back to wins and losses. So we just got to see how that goes.
Yep. Sip, as always, appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great weekend. You got anything big planned?
What is today? Thursday?
It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mother's Day.
Yes.
Is big.
That's a big day in your house?
Yeah, it's a big day for my mom. And then
I should have preferenced. I'm sorry. I should have preferenced that. Yes, your mom.
Yeah, and then it's my dad's birthday too.
Oh,
nice.
So it is a pretty big weekend actually.
All right, that's good. That'll give you something to do. You won't be hanging out at the ballpark.
No ballpark for me this weekend.
All right. Well, enjoy. As always, we enjoy the conversation, and don't forget to wear more of your Omaha face.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
That's Steve.